Hello, I'm Diana Upton-Hill.
And I'm Erica Good.
And we are excited to bring to you today Season 2 of Dutch Country Kitchen's Holiday Entertaining Special.
Yes.
Well, thank you for joining me here today, Erica.
Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to have you here. We have a wonderful episode for you guys in store.
Yes.
We're going to go from having some easy prep to impressive items too. Easy to impressive. And then we also have a special guest that we'll introduce later.
Yay!
But yeah, so our first item today we're going to go in with is the cider. And then Erica, what is your item you're going to be sharing with us today?
So we're going to be making a savory holiday entertaining platter for all your business parties, Christmas Eve celebrations, anything like that. It'd be perfect for. Kids love it. Grandkids, yes.
You always do such a great job with your platters, such variety and beauty and deliciousness.
Thank you.
And then our special guest is here today. Her name is Jill, and she's with Piper's Chocolates. And yes, she's going to be sharing her chocolate tips and tricks, and we'll all be drooling over them later. So
Who can resist chocolate?
I cannot. Well, let's dive in and start in with the cider.
Yes.
So this is a really special recipe for me. My mom actually gave me this recipe when we first got married. And I won't tell you how many years ago that was, but I realized that it was somewhat customary to receive recipes from loved ones as you got married. And this is one that was shared by my mother along with lots of other recipes. And I think that's so special. You know, if you're looking for a really special gift to give somebody, a recipe, sharing something like that, because every time I pull one out, I feel, all that warm and fuzzy about that, and I have that memory. So this one, it's really easy, it's really delicious. I've served it at many holiday get-togethers, and kids to adults really, really like it. So, Erica, what we're going to do first is pour in the cider.
Okay.
So we just have a half gallon of cider here, and this is a kind that we do have at the store, I believe.
Can't wait to try it with these yummy additions. So is this orange juice from concentrate?
So, whatever your favorite orange juice is just fine. I prefer without pulp. So this one here is from our local grocer. And this is just a quart of orange juice. And then next we're going to throw in our third ingredient, 3 of 4. That's all it takes, 4 ingredients. This is cinnamon imperial candies. Just a 1/3 cup of those.
What's this next ingredient?
So this is whole allspice. And you can get this, again, at lots of different grocery stores. We carry it. You can get it online or at the store. Just put that all right in. So everything just goes right into the same pot. And then we turn it on and bring it to boil.
So is it done?
Well, we did bring it to a boil, and then we reduced the heat, let it simmer about 5 minutes or so, covered all that time. And then it's just cooled, and you serve it after you remove the allspice. So I think that's our next step here.
Perfect. Is this for the allspice?
Yes, it is. All right, I'm just going to use a slotted spoon.
Makes sense.
And just take them right out of there. All right, we've got all those out.
Oh, perfect.
It's time to serve. How about a cup?
I would love some. Oh, it even looks kind of pink with those imperials melted.
Yes, those cinnamon imperials give it a pink hue, don't they?
I assume you want some too?
Oh, I might.
Oh, wow.
Well, shall we cheers?
Yes. That is amazing.
Warms up your insides. Thank you. Well, let's move on to our next segment. Erica, you're going to be sharing a platter with us.
Yes.
Okay,
Let's do
perfect.
that.
Well, hello again. We are now set up with a wonderful spread, I see.
Yes.
We've been working hard just to get this ready, but this next part I think is going to be super fun. So what are the ingredients we're going to be including today?
Well, we'll start out with these thin wheat crackers, and then stick them in here. Probably use the rest later. And then these are garlic bagel chips. They're really good served with some of these dips and stuff. The cheese, these are milk and creamery cheese curds. They're so good. Just gonna pile some here. Now we're ready for the meat.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so I love this Winnisburg summer sausage.
And I love that you have a meat and a cheese on here for some protein.
Yep. Just slice these into little serving slices here.
Now, what kind of knife are you using for this?
Oh, this is a Rita paring knife. I'm serious, Rita is just amazing. And
Yeah.
I love this paring knife. It's just very easy to cut with.
Looks very comfortable to hold.
Yes. So platters like this, we often had such a huge meal at Christmas for lunch that we'd have this afterwards.
Smart.
And Christmas is really my favorite holiday. I have all these amazing memories of Christmases past with family, aunts, uncles, cousins. I came from a large extended family. My mom counted the other day. There's 95 first cousins that I have. 95.
Like almost 100 first cousins.
Yes, so anytime we went to my mom or dad's house, there were cousins your age, there was sledding parties, board games, snacks everywhere to eat.
The word boredom didn't exist
No.
in your family. That's a huge amount of
Yes.
cousins.
So-
That's amazing.
Family's very important to me. And now with my children, you know, to see the sparkle in their eyes Christmas morning and yes.
Yeah, that's
I
something
love
I'm really
Christmas.
looking forward to as my son gets a little bit older, is the magic of Christmas.
Yes. So I'm just kind of doing a couple different piles of fruit.
Mandarin oranges.
Yeah, that'll add some color. And when you're doing a plate like this, just try to keep the colors interspersed throughout the platter so it looks good. And really, you can't hardly go wrong with these. I mean, it's so delicious. All right, let's cut up a pepper to add a little more festive red to it.
Okay.
The new cutting board.
And I see you have a different knife for this.
Yeah, now I love for fresh veggies is the Rita paring knife, but if you look really close, there's little serrated edges on it.
Oh, yes, yes.
And it just cuts into vegetables really easily. And it actually kind of leaves a little bit of a groove on the veggies that I really like.
Good for dipping then.
Just gonna julienne these.
You make it look so easy. It's very impressive.
In fact, we can switch places. You can fill this up if you want, and
Sure
I'll
thing.
finish up with the other jars. So this is a sweet and hot pepper relish mixed with cream cheese, and it is amazing. We sampled this at the store, and people just go nuts over it.
Oh, yes.
Let's squish this in over here. And this, believe it or not, it has cream cheese in it, but it's really good on the cheese curds. It's amazing. And this is a cucumber dill dip mix with sour cream in it. This is amazing too on the meat or on the garlic bagel chips.
Yum.
Like that. All right, we need a little bit of parsley here.
Any particular place you'd like the peppers?
Oh, maybe right here would be great. You can make a space. And of course, fresh parsley just makes everything look better and like a party.
Yes, it's amazing what that parsley does. I've learned a lot about parsley during these seasons.
Yes. I like to grow it in my garden. They usually grow well and it's easy, and if you want some, you can just go out and get it.
It's just that easy.
There you have it.
Amazing. It looks absolutely stunning.
Looks good.
Well, I can't wait to dive in, but first, I suppose, we should go ahead and welcome our special guest. Well, in true celebratory fashion today at Dutch Country Kitchen, we have a very exciting special guest. I want to welcome Jill Kearns from Piper's Candy.
Well, thank you.
Jill, I am just thrilled that you're here. You've brought some really intriguing equipment and really delightful looking ingredients and end result, I think, over here. But I'm just really excited to hear what you've got to, to share with us.
Really thrilled to be here. And so happy for this partnership with with Dutch Country.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. And we'll talk more about that partnership in a little bit. But first, I want to talk about Piper's and the history, because Piper's has been around a few years.
It has. It's in Sheraton, Iowa. And it's been on the same corner. It's a corner grocery store, actually, where we started making candy in 1947. So we've been making the candy a long time, but we've been Piper's on that corner even longer.
Wow.
Joel Piper started it, and he had a large family, and his youngest son eventually took it over, and he started making the candy. And so he passed away in 1987. And my mom had been working for him for several years and just loved the place. And so his daughters were all out of state and unable to, carry on the tradition. But mom, with their blessing, my mom and dad, I should say, bought the store, and so we're carrying on we have the same recipes, kind of the same feel to the store. It looks much the same as it did.
That's incredible. And what year did you say that the store opened?
It actually opened in 1905. So
1905. That's incredible, you guys.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's in the same family that way, with your mom coming up.
We've treated it that way.
Thank you for bringing us into your family.
Well,
and we're
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so thrilled. So let's talk about what we're going to do today.
Okay.
Some tips and tricks, maybe. We know that our viewers, many of you have your own traditions of making candy, dipping things, creating candies at home, and we can certainly go buy it at Piper's. We'd love that, or at Dutch Country General Store with our partnership. Yeah. We can definitely do that, which is probably what I will honestly opt to do. But but this is really exciting. I mean, I really am anxious to see the techniques that you have and the tips, because there are people who will really value that.
Well, we understand. We do everything by hand, almost everything by hand. The caramels that we make are in kettles, like so, so they're in small batches and by hand, and so we get to make candy, kind of the real way, and we understand the joy of it, and know that a lot of people really enjoy that at the holidays.
Want to have that same feeling.
Yeah.
Great.
So we just have a few tips. We've been doing it a little. So I think we're going to start out with doing some pretzels, dipping some pretzels, because that's a very festive kind of thing to do. And we start off with, it just sounds silly, but not to overheat your water. We're using a double boiler here. I think a lot of folks probably have double boilers. If you don't have one, you can just use a bowl. And, we like to we use this because it's just larger and we can get more chocolate in it. So like I said, you don't want to overheat your water. You want it close to boiling, but not necessarily boiling. This is, a lot of people call it almond bark, confectionery coating. This is our milk chocolate. And with this, it doesn't have any stabilizers. So what you buy at the grocery store generally has stabilizers in it.
Okay.
So it makes it easier to handle. It's much more like this. Still, you don't want to overheat it. I think we'll start off here though. We're just get these melting, but we'll start off with the pretzels and the almond bark. Yeah. So we dip a lot of pretzels. This is kind of a classic, always has been. I think, Bob started out doing those. We have added in sandwich cookies and just other fun stuff.
That's one of my son's favorite, are the dipped sandwich cookies. Yeah. That's his special treat.
All right, I think that our almond bark is ready now. So I just think it's easier to work out of it. You can't, I suppose, work out of the boiler, but I think it's easier to work out of the bowl like this. All right, Diana, I think that we are ready here for some pretzels.
Oh, wonderful.
So we'll just take and
you don't have
one of the things.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
You don't have any special tools for this part. I see you're just using a regular fork.
No, and that's what we use at the shop as well, and we just find it's just easier. And I guess I just want folks to know that there's a little art to it. There's a little something to it, but it's not anything you can't do. A lot of times people are kind of tempted to tap the excess off, and we just find it makes a much nicer, creamier.
It's more about smoothing.
Yeah, if you just kind of scrape it on the edge and then just kind of pull it off like that.
They look beautiful.
So, while they're still wet here, and not too dry, do you want the honors? Do you want to have?
Well, sure, I'll
put some pretties on it. We have some holiday sprinkles that we could.
Absolutely.
Could I ask you
Of course.
a favor?
Yes.
This little mug right here has, you maybe can kind of show them.
Oh, sure.
It has the already colored bark in it, along with the just a few of the white to just kind of lighten it up just a little bit. So if you don't mind putting it in the microwave for like 30
Absolutely.
seconds.
All right, well, I microwaved this for about a minute, and it looks like it's about ready, don't you
It
think?
does look, yes. Thank you so much for doing that.
I did stir it at 30 seconds, just like you said, too.
Well, it can be easy to overdo it, and then it ends up too thick, and then you can't get it to drizzle properly. So, all right, so it's kind of a wild process. We just kind of take and...
Wow. I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna try to keep it from getting big blobs.
And you can get these chips in lots of different colors. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. And there is if you're ever tempted to just use food coloring, don't. It will kind of make the bark kind of seize up.
I may or may not have tried that before.
It just, it basically ruins it.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, So that's our pretzels for today.
Wonderful.
Just a little sampling and a few tips on techniques.
All right, now we finished up on the pretzels. We are ready to move on to the caramel, or caramel. That's an age-old question. What do you say?
It is. We have a lot of customers come in and say caramel, which sounds fancy, but we just say caramel.
Either way, it tastes
it's a
delicious.
Southern Iowa speak, I suppose.
That'll work.
Yeah,
well, let's move
way.
on. Let's do our caramels. That sounds great.
Okay, so for the caramels, we're going to use our milk chocolate, and like I talked about earlier, it doesn't have any stabilizers in it, so we'll be tempering it. And so you can just, there is some value in just leaving it and letting it cool some, but it really works best if you put in little shavings and blend it in.
Oh, wow.
And it just helps with the tempering process. And right now, you can feel quite a bit of heat. Hot. It's not boiling, but you can feel heat. Mm-hmm. But when we get to the right stage here, it's quite thin right now. And pretty soon, as you stir. There's a lot of stirring involved.
A lot of stirring.
There's always a lot of stirring involved. Once we get it, it'll get thicker and thicker and cooler. So then, it's just kind of like with the other. With the white, a part of it, you can just use your fork. If you take and kind of balance the candy about midway, it makes it easier to kind of scrape and then pull off. Yeah.
And see, the great thing about the caramel is you can just reform it as you need to use it. So.
Yeah.
So you just smooth it on there, very similar to how you did the pretzels.
Very similar.
And at what point then do you think we should introduce the salt?
If you'd like to, you could go ahead and put salt on those. Yes.
All right, I'd love to.
We also do a lot of dipping with, we started making mints. Well, we've always made mints, I shouldn't say that. We've always made mints, but we recently have started doing more of the dark chocolate dipped mints. And we make the mint flavoring just a little bit stronger, and then dip it in dark chocolate. We wrap each mint individually, just to kind of perk it up. It's little pieces of foil, and then we put stickers on them. And I mentioned my mom earlier.
Yes.
And when I moved back 22 years ago, it was supposed to be that I was taking over the store and she was retiring, but I don't think it quite worked out that way. She's at the store almost every day. And her main job is wrapping mints.
Oh my goodness, she wraps all the mints.
She just has a real love of the people at the store, and she just loves being a part of it. And we can use a mint wrapper, so
that's so. If you get a wrapped mint from Piper's, you know it was wrapped by your mom. That's special. That's special.
Right.
And I know you brought something special today. Let me grab that. You guys might have been eyeing this on the back counter. This is one of your assortments. And I see a nice variety here. This is the 3-pound box?
It is. It is. Our 1.5 looks much the same, just one layer. And it comes in a variety of sizes. And I think through Dutch Country, we have the 1 pound and the 1.5 available.
Yes, we might even have the 3 as well. So, and if we don't, we will.
That's right. That's right.
But these, you can order it online at DutchCountryGeneralStore.com. Also through the catalog that you may have already received for our holiday gifts, and in stores we have it as well.
That's right. You might notice the special little mints right there. Those may have been wrapped by my mother.
Oh, how sweet. You guys, that's great. Thank you so much for being here today. I am excited to get this all put together. And, it was an absolute pleasure having you today.
Oh, thank you so much. It was just a joy to be here.
Well, what an incredible spread we have created here today.
Yes. My eyes are on that chocolate.
I don't blame you. I mean, I love that there's something savory, there's crunchy, there's chewy and sweet and hot and cold. Everything, there is something for everyone, truly. And if you guys are interested in any of the products or ingredients that you've seen today, make sure and check out DutchCountryKitchen.com, and you'll also be able to get the recipe for all 3 of these wonderful dishes. From our family to yours, may you have all the blessings this holiday season.
And remember that every day is a holiday and every meal is a feast.